Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's so good to have you here again at Confident Beauty, where every style tells a story. Last week we danced to the vibrant rhythm of Brazil. Today we cross the ocean to a land of tea, tradition, and a surprising amount of rebellion. Welcome to the United Kingdom. What is the definition of British beauty? Is it the immaculately coiffed hair of the Queen? Or is it the sharp, geometric cuts that revolutionized the world in the swinging 60s? The answer is it is both. Britain is a land of contrasts. It is the home of the stiff upper lip and the birthplace of punk. It is a place where a woman over 50 can be a dame with a perfect blow-dry, or a rock legend with vibrant orange hair. This is a story of royalty and rebellion. Join us as we explore a century of British character and style, one decade at a time. In the 1920s, while America had the flapper, Britain had the Bloomsbury group intellectuals and writers like Virginia Woolf. For the mature British woman, the short hair trend wasn't just about partying, it was about intellect. They adopted the shingle bob or the even shorter Eton crop. It was severe, neat, and exposed the neck. Unlike the soft, romantic waves of Italy, the British look was often straighter and more practical, suited for the damp London weather. Modern tip: the Eton crop is the ancestor of today's pixie. A super short, tapered cut at the nape is incredibly elegant for mature women, elongating the neck and lifting the features instantly. As the UK entered the hardships of the 1930s and then the devastating blitz of WW2, hair became a symbol of morale. Keep calm and carry on was the motto. Practicality was paramount. Women worked in factories and on farms. The elaborate Hollywood waves were replaced by practical victory rolls, often just one singular roll, and the ubiquitous snood L letter 1B0 letter 1EDBI Buey talk. The snood kept hair safe and tidy but allowed for a decorative roll at the front. Even the Queen Mother maintained a soft, side-swept fringe to show a gentle face to the nation. Modern tip: while snoods are retro, the concept of protective styling is modern. On windy or busy days, a chic, low bun secured with a silk scrunchie or a decorative pin captures that same practical elegance. '53 1953 marked the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II, and a return to formality. For British women over 50, this decade cemented the ritual of the shampoo and set. This was the weekly visit to the hairdresser to have hair set on rollers and dried under a hood. The result was the Queen's cut short, tightly curled, perfectly structured and immovable. It was a helmet of respectability. While rigid, it represented dignity and status. Modern tip: we've ditched the helmet hair, but the set is still valid. Using heated rollers on the crown of the head is still the best way for British women and you to achieve that royal volume and polish that lasts all day. The 1970s in the UK brought a specific icon: Joanna Lumley in The New Avengers, playing the character Purdy. The Purdy cut became a national obsession. It was a bowl-cut hybrid, smooth and rounded on top, but with feathery, flicked-out edges at the back. It was androgynous yet feminine, practical yet stylish. It bridged the gap between the structured 60s and the messy 70s shag. Modern tip: the Purdy is back as the modern bowl cut, or Bixie. It is fantastic for women with fine hair because the rounded shape creates the illusion of thickness on top, while the wispy edges keep it soft around an aging jawline. 5. The 1970s in the UK brought a specific icon, Joanna Lumley in The New Avengers, playing the character Purdy. The Purdy cut became a national obsession. It was a bowl-cut hybrid, smooth and rounded on top, but with feathery, flicked-out edges at the back. It was androgynous yet feminine, practical yet stylish. It bridged the gap between the structured 60s and the messy 70s shag. Modern tip: the Purdy is back as the modern bowl cut or Bixie. It is fantastic for women with fine hair because the rounded shape creates the illusion of thickness on top, while the wispy edges keep it soft around an aging jawline. The 80s in Britain were defined by two women with completely opposite hair. First, Margaret Thatcher, the Prime Minister, whose immovable, back-combed power helmet was a symbol of unyielding authority. Second, and most influentially, Princess Diana. Her feathered, layered Sloane Ranger bob became the most copied haircut in history. It was short, practical but soft and accessible. It was the haircut of the people's princess. Modern tip: the Diana bob is timeless. Ask for a layered bob with a deep side part and sweeping layers. It opens up the face and looks fantastic on almost every hair texture. As the 90s ushered in cool Britannia, the pomp of the 80s faded. A new kind of mature icon emerged: Judi Dench and Helen Mirren. They popularized the short, textured crop. This wasn't the stiff hair of the 50s, this was choppy, spiky, and usually white or gray. It was a rejection of the mutton dressed as lamb idea. It was cool, intellectual, and incredibly easy to manage. Modern tip: a textured pixie cut requires product. Use a matte styling paste, not gel, to define the ends and add that piecey, modern texture that separates a cool pixie from a granny cut. The new millennium brought the Middleton effect. Kate Middleton popularized the Chelsea blow-dry long, incredibly glossy, bouncy and rich-looking hair. While Kate was young, this look was adopted massively by women over 50. Think Elizabeth Hurley or Carol Vorderman. It signifies wealth and health. It's not about the cut, it's about the finish. Modern tip: the secret to the Chelsea blow-dry is the round brush. When blow-drying, keep the nozzle pointing down the hair shaft to smooth the cuticle, and blast the hair with cold air at the very end to set the shine. And that brings us to today. British women over 50 are embracing the edgy grey. Led by icons like Tilda Swinton and Helen Mirren, grey hair in the UK isn't just accepted, it's styled with an avant-garde twist. It might be an undercut, a stark white color, or even a streak of pink, a nod to the punk history. The British philosophy today is that eccentricity is a virtue. Modern tip: don't just let your hair go grey, style it grey. A sharp asymmetric cut makes silver hair look intentional and high fashion, rather than a sign of giving up. 100 years. The story of British hair is a tug-of-war between the crown and the street. It moves from the rigid dignity of the shampoo and set to the freedom of the Sassoon cut, from the softness of Princess Diana to the sharp edge of Tilda Swinton. Britain teaches us that you don't have to choose between being dignified and being cool. You can be both. From the cool, eccentric streets of London, our journey next week takes us to a land of vibrant colors, spiritual depth, and incredibly long, luxurious hair. Join us as we explore 100 years of hair in India. We'll see you then.